this video, we're going to review how to charge by friction. Now, a key factor in charging by friction is knowing which object will become positively or negatively charged. We know this by looking at the electrostatic series, which really is just a long list of materials where at the top you have materials with a weak hold of electrons, and at the bottom, materials with a strong hold of electrons. So how do we visualize this? Well, here's an analogy. Let's say both materials are playing tug-of-war with the electrons. Before they begin pulling, they both have equal amounts of rope, or electrons. Once they start interacting with each other, the material that is lower in the electrostatic series will end up with more electrons on their side. With more electrons on their side, they become negatively charged, and the other material then becomes positively charged because it has less electrons. But notice that the electrons don't just randomly appear to make one object negative. There are still 10 electrons in total. This is due to the law of conservation of charge, which states that charge cannot be created or destroyed. If we go back to our tug-of-war analogy, if this wasn't true, then this would be equivalent to the rope randomly extending as the other person pulled on it. Assuming that this is an ideal rope, that just isn't possible. So now we can start the lab. So, in our bin, we have a comb, which we're going to charge with a piece of wool. We have an ebonite rod, which we're going to charge with a piece of fur. And we have a glass rod, which we are going to charge with some polyethylene plastic. Now, if you look in your electrostatic series, you can predict whether the comb will become positively charged or negatively charged when charged by the piece of wool. Same thing goes for the ebonite rod and the fur, and the glass rod and the polyethylene. Now let's start the lab. Notice that the two combs repel one another. This is because similar charges repel and dissimilar charges attract. Yeah, make sure that the glass rod doesn't